Question that I come across a lot, and a question that you guys have been asking me a lot too, is how to fill gaps properly. Now, the question can be divided into what is the fastest way and what is the best looking way. And in my opinion, both can be combined into one solution. For my solution, you're going to need some MILLIPUT Standard, a color shaper, and optionally some sandpaper. Now, as I said, this option not only gives great results, it's also really quick. So while I'm pretty sure there's going to be methods that are somewhat faster, it's the perfect trade-off between looking really good and giving great results and not taking too long. Let's talk about all of these components. MILLIPUT is an epoxy putty that you can get in craft stores or well-sorted hobby stores. It has two components and it's self-hardening and relatively easy to use. Some people prefer the superfine white, but I like standard. The reason being that it's not as finely grained and it does not dry as brittle as the superfine white. The color shaper I use is a Royal Sovereign Limited UK product, and it is a size 0 firm angled chisel variation. I will leave a link in the description for where you can buy these. The firm tip is important because while it still conforms to all shapes, at the same time it won't give way to pressure too much, and it will apply enough pressure on your MILLIPUT so that you can smooth it out. I like this shape because you have a lot of options with the smoother backside, the slightly round backside. You can use it for more organic materials and organic shapes, and with this angle here with the chisel side you can use it for all kinds of sharp edges. And like I said, it's a 2-in-1 tool, and even sometimes I will use the sharp tip here in the front. I recommend the Royal Sovereign Limited UK variation. There is a lot of cheaper versions out there. There's a lot of no-name color shapers out there that you can get, and I guess it's a matter of preference. If you are on a budget, maybe try one of those other color shapers, but I like these. This one or these two have been with me for I think almost 16 years, and while it shows, they still work really good, so the investment was worth it. Again, there's a link in the description where you can get these. Sandpaper, as we will see, is optional. I have two variants. This one is a 400 grain and this one is a 1000 grain. You can use it to smooth out areas that you applied an extra layer of MILLIPUT to that maybe were a bit bumpy and that you want to equalize. In general, sometimes it is needed. It's not always needed, as you're going to see. I'm taking equal parts of the components. The gray component deteriorates and hardens when in contact with air, so I try to avoid using these parts. After mixing the two of them together thoroughly, I'm forming a shape that mirrors the gap I want to fill. And I'm using the flat side of the color shaper to press the MILLIPUT mix into the recesses. Once it is in there, I carefully remove the excess in a downward and outwards pushing motion. That way any spill gets flattened out on the sides. The good thing about MILLIPUT is that it's really finely grained and it does not leave any borders like green stuff does. Adding a bit of moisture to the tool while doing this helps a lot with the smoothing. Small lines like these usually get filled properly without a lot of spill, but in less accessible areas this comes in handy. I keep repeating the steps, and you can see that the color shaper conveniently conforms to the angles and shapes of the model as it smoothens out the MILLIPUT. It doesn't matter if the surface is straight or curved. And it also works on very small areas, as you can see here. Sometimes on smaller areas I have to use the tip, but but this just shows the versatility of the tool. The results are pretty smooth, and if you are under time pressure, you can stop here and start to base coat. For showcase models, when I want to be absolutely sure to have the smoothest surface possible, I'm using abrasive paper. I'm starting with the 400 grid size to get rid of excess, and I switch to grid size 1000 for the final smoothing. On gaps that are very large and deep, I apply a layer of superglue first carefully, and when it's dry I fill the rest with Milliput again. Both can be sandpapered equally good. And the nice thing about sandpaper is that you can bend and roll it up so it conforms to the shape you want to work on. You can see that the superglue fills the large gaps and the Milliput fills the small imperfections in between. And that's it. Easy, fast, and absolutely smooth.